who is the real king of Africa?
It's me.
It was my first time getting dropped. I got up, man, and I just throwing bombs. It was a wild fight.
Expecting a sharp jab, but do what has been with a bigger man.
The return of Mexico on the heavyweight stage. No one expected Mexico to take on Nigeria in this way. The sport of boxing has never seen two nations go head-to-head in such an emphatic heavyweight showdown. Andy Ruiz, former champion of the world, steps in the ring with the prince of Nigerian boxing, Efe Ajagba. A fight like this had the entire fight world on the edge of their seats. Since Ruiz's draw to Jarrell Miller back in August 2024, not much has been heard about his whereabouts. Ruiz has been training hard, honing his skills in the gym, and sharpening his boxing toolkit. The man has been hungry for a return to his rightful throne ever since he defeated AJ and tasted the world champion status back in 2019. It's about time Mexico stamps its mark at the top once again. On his return path to glory, Ruiz has gone from victory to victory against top contenders like Chris Arreola in 2021 and Luis Ortiz back in 2022. Of Andy the Destroyer's most to be simply relentless in detonating vicious flurries of snappy combos that stung his opponents and left them wishing they were back at home in a comfortable, warm bed. But now, one man stands in Andy's way. One man alone blocks his path on the rise back to world champion status. That man is Efe Ajagba. With the Nigerian warrior DNA in his veins and the dangerous power of a man who trains to conquer, Efe Ajagba has built up a formidable reputation in the sport. Ajagba grew up in the humble town of Ughelli in Delta State, Nigeria, and initially played football before switching to boxing at the young age of 17. He quickly rose through the amateur ranks, becoming Nigeria's top heavyweight. His most notable amateur achievements include winning gold medal at the 2015 African Games, winning the bronze medal at the 2014 Commonwealth Games, and representing Nigeria at the 2016 Rio Olympics, reaching the quarterfinals. Not bad for a guy who originally worked as a baker for his dad in the local village bakery. I guess that's why they call him the rolling pin. Oh yeah, also because of his reputation for completely annihilating any opponent who dares face him in the ring. Ajagba only discovered boxing at the relatively late age of 17. He was introduced to the sport by a friend and began training at a local boxing club. Despite starting late, he quickly developed a passion for it and showed natural athleticism and power. Thanks to his dedication and raw talent, Ajagba rose rapidly through the Nigerian amateur boxing ranks. He became the country's top-ranked amateur heavyweight in just a few years. His physical gifts, particularly his height, reach, and power, made him a standout on the national scene. Perhaps this is why Efe has become such a dangerous challenger in the division. Due to his focus on power and strength, Andy Ruiz has been singled out as the one man who would be well-matched to completely derail the Nigerian savant. Many claim Ajagba would smash Ruiz like a pounded yam. But critics are keen to point out just how effectively Ruiz dealt with the savage power-punching Anthony Joshua back in 2019. June 1st, 2019, Madison Square Garden, New York City. The stage was set. Anthony Joshua, the chiseled Adonis, undefeated, untouchable, made his long-awaited U.S. debut. Across the ring stood a last-minute replacement, a chubby underdog with fast hands and zero fear. Andy Ruiz Jr. was supposed to be a tune-up, a footnote, just another highlight reel knockout for the British champ. But what happened next would shake the world of boxing to its very core. Joshua drops Ruiz with a thunderous left hook. The crowd roars. It's over. Right? Wrong. Ruiz came back with fire in his fists and steel in his heart. He dropped Joshua 4 times. 4! Before the unthinkable happened. The ref waves it off in the 7th. A stunned Joshua leans on the ropes, and Andy Ruiz Jr., the underdog mocked for his body, becomes the first ever Mexican heavyweight champion of the world. One thing I feel the world doesn't talk about enough. It's the cheeky smile on Andy's face once AJ dropped him the first time. It was so cheeky. Such a crazy moment in light of what came next. It was like the man knew there was about to be a glitch in the Matrix, and he was gonna get right back up and smash the world champion into oblivion, go home with all his belts, and have an enormous party in LA. If there's one criticism of Andy Ruiz, it's exactly that. He parties too hard. Rumors abound of how wild this man partied when he won the belts. Crazy shenanigans all night long. Logan Paul even spoke about this in one of his podcasts. It sounded like the Mexican cartel mafia were even invited.
So Andy Ruiz had just won the heavyweight championship from Joshua, and he wanted to celebrate, and he threw this white party at his house. And I don't own anything white other than underwear, and even that's questionable.
But Ruiz will need to be more focused to survive a war with Efe Ajagba. Since a monumental blip in his winning streak against Frank Sanchez back in 2021, Ajagba has done nothing but win. That's 5 consecutive wins against worthy challengers. The man is set to fight Martin Bakole next, which is a shocking matchup of Nigeria versus the Democratic Republic of Congo's finest gladiator. Bakole, too, yields enormous strength and power. But the man is coming off a recent loss against Joseph Parker, which saw him completely smashed flat on his backside against the canvas. Once Ajagba smashes through Bakole, his proud Urobo bloodline will be at the top of the division. Andy Ruiz will need to train harder in the gym with the likes of proven champions like Canelo in order to survive this fight. But many believe Ruiz has an extremely high chance of smashing Ajagba, the same way Frank Sanchez did previously. This is because Cuban and Spanish-style boxing is evidently challenging for the Nigerian powerhouse. Frank Sanchez is known for technical skill, footwork, and defense. He stayed mobile, used angles, and never let Ajagba get set to unleash his power shots. Sanchez neutralized Ajagba's offense by constantly circling away from his right hand. He picked spots and scored clean counterpunches while staying out of danger. Ajagba was uncharacteristically tentative. Sanchez's movement and sharp counters made Ajagba hesitate, reducing his output and aggression. In round 7, Sanchez scored a clean knockdown, dropping Ajagba with a well-timed counter. Though Ajagba got up, the knockdown sealed the fight on the cards and demonstrated Sanchez's edge in timing and control. Andy Ruiz has a very similar style. He exemplified this clearly in his fight against Chris Arreola. 2 Mexican-American heavyweights, 1 ring, 1 war. And a fight that no one expected to be this crazy explosive. This wasn't just a boxing match. It was a redemption story. For Andy Ruiz Jr., the former unified world champion, the first Mexican heavyweight king, this was about proving he wasn't a one-hit wonder. And on the other side, Chris the Nightmare Arreola, a grizzled veteran with nothing to lose and fire in his fists. That's when the switch flipped. Ruiz, now 30 pounds lighter, moving like a welterweight, starts slipping, weaving, and firing back with laser-guided combos. His new camp under Eddie Reynoso, you could see the difference. His feet were sharper, his head movement tighter, his punches pure dynamite. After 12 rounds of straight-up war, Andy Ruiz Jr. walks away with the unanimous decision. Not just a win, but a statement. He got dropped, he got tested, and he reminded the world, you can never count out Andy the Destroyer Ruiz Jr. The truth is, in the fight of Ajagba versus Ruiz, it's very likely that Ruiz would get knocked down. But as he's proven, time and time again, this man has a chin of steel. Ruiz can happily get knocked down on his backside, take a quick pause, and then get back up to finish the job. It's like he needs a knockdown just to get him in the zone. And then suddenly, he's ready to really prove himself. That's when Ajagba gets completely peppered up like a ribeye on a hot skillet, sizzling, seasoned, and seconds away from being served. How do you see this fight going? We want to know. Smash that like button if you felt the hype. Drop a comment. Should Ruiz fight Wilder next? And don't forget to subscribe for more breakdowns that hit harder than Areola's right hand.